Are you considering moving to Portugal? Well, you're not the only one. Over the years, Portugal's property market has grown and it continues to thrive today. Thanks to a booming tourism sector and more expats moving to Portugal than ever before, investors are showing more and more interest in the country's rental market. Stay tuned, as today we're taking a look at the long-term and short-term rental properties, their pros and cons, and more. We'll provide you with key practical information so that if you are considering renting in Portugal, you'll have everything you need to get set up. Hi there, my name is Amy and I'm a buyer's agent at Goldcrest, the independent property buying service here in Portugal. At Goldcrest, you the buyer are our primary concern, not the seller, and we will always negotiate the best possible deal for you, ensuring that you have the latest market intelligence and innovative valuation methods to make an informed decision. So let's start with the basics, guys. What is the difference between a long-term and a short-term rental? Well, a long-term rental is a property that is leased for several months at a time on a yearly basis. The price is generally fixed during that period and rent can change according to the conditions laid out in your rental contract. If you intend to rent your property long-term, you'll need to, among other things, register a lease. Long-term rentals offer security for both the landlord and the tenant. The former has a guaranteed income for that period and the latter has guaranteed accommodation. It's win-win. And this security can help both parties budget their finances during this period, which many families and individuals really appreciate. On the other hand, short-term rental properties are rented for a much shorter period of time, usually a couple of days to a month at most. This type of property could be a room in a house, a rental unit available on a monthly basis, or a vacation home. So how do you register a property as a short-term rental? Well, you'll need to request a permit and meet the safety requirements. You'll also have to pay a tourist tax, which varies on the area. A short-term rental is often booked in advance and doesn't really allow a lot of wiggle room if you want to extend your stay. It can also work out more expensive than a long-term rental as there is no guaranteed income for extended periods. For example, a vacation rental in the Algarve may be booked back-to-back during the summer months but have little to no renters during the winter. This will, of course, completely depend on where you buy. If it's a tourist hotspot, it may be totally possible to rent out your place for most of the year. At this point, you may be starting to weigh up the pros and cons of each option, so let's get into that. As we said, long-term rentals provide security in terms of fixed income and accommodation. Long-term tenants can also tend to cause less damage to a property, meaning that your maintenance costs will be likely lower. You will also have lower management costs with a fixed tenant rather than having to clean and fix the property each month in between the tenancies. But long-term rentals tend to have lower rental yields than short-term rentals. Portugal also has laws that protect the renter, meaning that you may have difficulty raising the rent or removing tenants who choose to overstay their lease. As we mentioned before, short-term rentals have higher rental yields. You can use websites like Airbnb and Trip.com to advertise your property and manage your bookings, or use a management company to completely manage the property for you. Another great aspect of short-term rentals that you can enjoy is the flexibility. If you want to use your property yourself, it's easier to do so when it's not occupied by long-term tenants. While this may sound good, it's important to note that short-term rentals need more hands-on management, like cleaning between the tenants, bed linen, towels, things like that. And however, if you use a management company, this is taken care of for you. One final disadvantage of short-term rentals is that there can be rental restrictions. For example, in areas like Lisbon and Porto, you should check that there are no restrictions in place. So what type of rental property is best for you? This will depend entirely on your goals as a landlord. Do you want a lower guaranteed income for a longer period of time, or do you want a higher income based on a more flexible basis? This will also affect the area you choose for your rental property. For example, the Algarve is super popular with holidaymakers and tourists, meaning short-term rentals are more likely to be booked up during the summer months, but perhaps less so during the off-peak season. On the flip side, if your property is in a more residential area near to maybe a school, you're more likely to attract a family with children looking to stay there for a year or two at least. So to wrap things up, As we mentioned at the start of the video, Portugal's rental market has seen a good deal of growth over the years, so you should have no difficulty making either rental option work for you. With so many property management companies and letting agencies in Portugal, you'll be able to find the right advice and guidance whether you're looking as a first-time landlord or you've been doing this for years. So now that you have a better idea of the advantages and disadvantages of becoming a landlord in Portugal, you may be eager to take the next step and find the right property here. We have a useful article that can give you more information about Portugal investment properties at the link in the description below. And remember guys, we're here for you. You can always get in touch with us and see how we can help you with your real estate purchase in Portugal. That's all from us today, guys. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. My name's Amy and this is Goldcrest Insight.